Good morning, grade 3 and 4. It's Thursday, April 16th, 2020. Here we are again. How did everything go yesterday? Thanks for all of your calls and questions that you had on things and for working with me with your paragraphs and so on and so forth. I appreciate that. We'll take our time and we'll get it done. Don't worry, we'll get it all okay. A couple things to show you for today. Again, if you want to use those assignment books and write in your assignments, you have a story to read today about Israel and Judah being taken into exile. So make sure you read that story with your families and talk about the questions that are on the right-hand side there towards the bottom, all right? And think about what it means for us and for our lives and for our salvation as well, to show that, yes, sometimes God does allow bad things to come into our lives, but then also has good work out for those who believe and trust in Him, okay? Those who love Him. Your epic book for today, there are two that you have to read about your DT3 today, DT315. Remember to read and take the AR test on both of them right away. Finish up your packet pages and so that you can get them to me either in the mail or however else we have figured out to get them here on Friday. We'll be talking about your paragraphs. And then if you haven't yet read in your hardcover reading book, the book Animal Homes. Okay, I know we're not doing a whole lot of work on it, but I do want you to read that story and I do want you to take an AR test on it. And there are quite a few stories in our books that I have read to the whole class before. So if that happens, if you read the story and then go to take the AR test and it says you already took the test, you just have to let me know that, okay? But I do expect you to read the book, okay? For math, grade 3, today you have a test. Yay! Everybody loves tests, right? And grade 4, at the end of our little session here, we'll go through your lesson, really quick, easy one today as well. So you've got your DT315 that you'll be working on today, working on your Wisconsin paper, and we're going to be doing a little bit of that together here today. And then your family tree. How's that going? All right, keep working on those. Happy wear your pajamas to work day. I did not wear my pajamas to work today, but I noticed I think I have a peachy theme going on this week. Or I guess this is more coral than peach. And then just a reminder, how are you staying active? How are you staying artsy? I know I'm not having a Fayette or an art class with you or a music class, but how are you doing those things? Those are things that are important too. Get out there and ride your bikes, go for walks, go for runs, play basketball with your brothers or sisters or your mom or dad. I've been doing the PE with Joe fitness workout each weekday morning most of the time. And so you could also do that. That's another thing to do. There are tons of fitness things that you can do online. The other day, my neighbor and I made an extreme hopscotch and all across their sidewalk and then all down my sidewalk. Unfortunately, the snow came just after that and melted everything away, but it was kind of fun to do that as well. Remember to keep doing those nursing home letters. And then today you have a spelling test to take on the words from Animal Homes and then memory treasures. If you haven't already called me, make sure you call me with your memory treasures for today. You have 3 of them, okay? So the first thing that I want to do is work on your Wisconsin history paper with you. There's, remember I said I wanted to do the back of that together. And so if you'll go and get that, if you need to pause the video, go ahead, go and get that and a pencil and something that you can write on. And I'm going to cut to the other screen, okay? Feel free to pause the video if you need to. All right, so the part that we're going to talk about is this part on the back here. Hopefully you've read that already, about how do I read nonfiction. If you haven't, make sure that you read it, but we're going to go through and do what it's asking us to do for one of the strategies when you're reading nonfiction. And truly, when you're reading any type of selection, oftentimes even in nonfiction, in a fiction book, excuse me, there will often be a conflict and then a solution. And that's another word. Conflict is another word for problem. And so we can often use that even when we're reading fiction material as well. So we're going to be looking at this information that they give us here. And let's see what we can find for problems, okay? Now, what's going to go in your big circle here, whoops, I just wrote on that. And what I'd like you to do is do this over again on a separate sheet of paper and then give me a copy of that. So let's kind of work together. So transportation was a major problem facing early settlers. Okay, so that's our main idea, okay? Transportation in settled areas was largely confined to river bottoms. Although steamboats were common on the lower stretches of a number of rivers, some rivers were not deep enough for year-round transportation. Okay, so we have troubles with the rivers. So rivers weren't deep enough. Okay. Let's see. Roads were poor. That sounds like a problem. People couldn't use them during the wet weather. That shows how they were poor. Ox carts could only travel a few miles a day. So slow travel with ox carts. Cost of a wagon was 20 cents per mile. And you might not think that's a big deal, but think about it in those days. 20 cents per mile, that was a huge day, or excuse me, a huge amount. So look at all the problems that we have here, okay? So let's start with that side of our page. And so what we would do here, then, if you're doing a problem and solution activity, in your center circle, you write the main idea. Transportation, a problem. Don't need a line down there. For early settlers. Okay, so now let's think about the problems that we have. And how I'd like to do this one today is let's put our problems on top and then we'll put our solutions on the bottom. And you could do it all sorts of different ways. You could have problems on the left and solutions on the right. So what were some of our problems? Okay, so a problem that we had was rivers not deep enough. Okay, that was one problem. Poor roads. Another problem we saw was ox carts too slow. And notice how I'm just kind of getting a phrase here, okay? And then our last one that we had was wagons too expensive. Okay, all right. The light is kind of shining on that. I'm sorry about that. I hope you can see it okay. So rivers not deep enough, poor roads, ox carts too slow, wagons too expensive. Those are all problems. Okay, well, let's see if we can find some solutions. Can you guess where the solutions are going to go? Yep, on the bottom. Let's see if I can move my camera maybe a little bit, if that will make a difference. Oh, whenever I do that, it gets the hiccups. All right. Let me put my paper back up here. All right, so let's take a look at this part right here. So the right-hand side, people came up with many ideas to improve internal transportation, including river improvements, canals, plank roads, in addition to railroads. However, it was the railroads that made the development of the area possible. For many years, railroad growth and economic growth paralleled each other. So think about how some of our problems were solved. Okay, so I saw river improvements, canals, plank roads, and railroads. Okay, and so down on the bottom, move my paper out of the way here. Down on the bottom, I'm going to let go of my camera here. It's probably going to flop back up, but let me see what we can do. Are you getting the headache yet? The issues of technology. Oh, well. All right, so here on the bottom, we're going to have our solutions. All right, solutions. And what are some of our solutions? Do you remember back? Look at your paper. One of our solutions were improve rivers. And one of the ways that they improved it was canals. And remember how a canal makes the river deeper, right? So then the boats could go through at more times of the year. What was another thing that we had? Plank roads. So not paved like we have, but they would put boards down, and that would help. So like if we had a rainy season or that type of thing, the plank roads would be easier to drive the wagons or the carts on. And then our last one, which we heard was the best improvement, was railroads coming through. And as the railroads were developed, the areas around them developed as well. Okay, so there's an idea of a problem and solution web. Okay, I'm going to switch back to me. Whoops. Ha! And let go of the camera. There we go. All right, so does that make sense? And so what I'd like you to do is I would like you to do that activity on your own piece of paper. The same exact thing that we did together. So basically, if you didn't notice, I gave you the answers, okay? So make your own problem and solution web and take a picture of that and send it to me as well. And then use that process as you're reading, especially when you're reading nonfiction. See if you can find the problems and then see what solutions that they have of how they fix it as well, okay? So that's your lesson for that. I don't think there's anything else that I have for all of you. Joanna, God's blessings on your test. And now let's talk about lesson 105 for grade 4. Okay. And today we have dividing by 10. All right. So I'm going to, I was going to do this with the other camera, but I think I'm going to go right to the whiteboard. All right. Here we go. Go right to this guy. Okay, you have one example to do today. Wow, that's nice. So dividing by two-digit number though, which is something new for us. And remember, whenever we're doing something new, they make it as easy as possible. So in the example, it's asking us to do 432 divided by 10. You do the same steps that we always have done for long division. You divide, you multiply, you subtract, you bring down, and then you repeat as necessary, okay? So those things are the same. So first of all, we look at the 4. Can you do 4 divided by 10? No, it's too small, okay? So then we put these two digits together and we have 43. 43 divided by 10. Well, if I have 43, I can divide that into 4 sets. So I write my 4 right above my 3 there. Darken that up a little bit for you. And then I multiply. 4 times 10 is 40. I subtract. 3 take away 0 is 3. 4 take away 4 is 0. I bring down my 2. And now I repeat. 32 divided by 10 is 3. I can get 3 tens out of 32. 3 times 10 is 30. I subtract. I have 2, nothing else to bring down, so that is my remainder. 43 remainder 2. Now, when you are dividing by 10, here's something that you want to look at. Look at my digits. 4, 3, remainder 2. 4, 3, 2. That is what's going to happen every time when you are dividing by 10. When you are dividing by 10. Another way that you can check your work, you multiply 43 times 10. Well, that's easy. 43 times 10 is 430. We just put a 0 at the end. We add our remainder, and what do we get? 432. Did we do it right? We sure did. Okay, so you have several practices to do there. Do your practice. Have someone at home check it over. If you want me to check it over, you just have to send it to me. I'd be more than happy to. All right. And other than that, have a great day. Continue working hard on all of your things. Before you know it, this week is going to be done. All right. Thank you.